The wireless router. This wireless router typically provide Wlan security DHCP services, integrated names address translation or NAT, quality of service QoS, as well as a variety of other features. The feature set will vary based on the router model. Log in to the wireless router. To gain access to the wireless router's configuration GUI, open the web browser. In the address field, enter the default IP address for your wireless router. The default IP address can be found in the documentation that came with the wireless router, or you can search for the internet. The figure shows the IPv4 address 192.168.0.1, which is common default for many manufacturers. A security Windows prompt for authorization to access the router GUI. The word admin is commonly used as a default username and password. Again, check your wireless router's documentation or search to the internet. Basic network setup. First, log into the router from a web browser. Second one is change the default administrative password. Next is log in with the new administrative password. Change the default DHCP IPv4 addresses. Renew the IP addresses. Log into the router with the new IP address. Basic wireless setup. View the WLAN defaults. Change the network mode. Configure the SSID. Configure the channel. Configure the secure mode. Configure the passphrase. Configure a wireless mesh network. Extending a WLAN in a small office or home has become increasingly easier. Manufacturers have made creating a wireless mesh network or WMN simply through smartphones apps. You buy the system, disperse the access points, plug them in, download the app, and configure your WMN in a few steps. Search to the internet for best Wi-Fi mesh network system to find reviews of current offerings. Not for IPv4. The 209.165.201.11 IPv4 address is publicly routable on the internet. Any address with a 10 in the first octet is a private IPv4 address and cannot be routed on the internet. Therefore, the router will use a process called network address translation or NAT to convert private IPv4 addresses to internet routable IPv4 addresses. The process is reserved for incoming packets. The router is able to translate many internal IPv4 addresses into public addresses by using NAT. Quality of service. The figure is a simplified mock-up of a QoS interface based on Netgear GUI. You will usually find the QoS settings in the advanced menus. If you have wireless router available, investigate the QoS settings. Sometimes this might be listed under bandwidth control or something similar. Consult the wireless router's documentation or search the internet for QoS settings for your router's make and model. Next is port forwarding. Port triggering allows the router to temporarily forward data through inbound ports to a specific device. You can use port triggering to forward data to a computer only when a designated port ranges is used to make an outbound request. For example, a video game might use ports 27,000 to 27,100 for connecting with other players. These are the trigger ports. A chat client might use port 56 for connecting the same players so that they can interact with each other. WLC topology. Labs use the Lightweight Access Point Protocol or LWAPP to communicate with a LAN controller or WLC controller. Base APs are useful in situations where many APs are required in the network. As more APs are added, each AP is automatically configured and managed by WLC. Plug into WLC. The network summary page is a dashboard that provides a quick overview of the number of configured wireless network, associate access points, APs, and active clients. You can also see the number of access points and clients as shown in the feed. View AP information. The AP is using IP address 192.168.200.3. Because Cisco Discovery Protocol or CDP is active on this network, the WLC knows that the AP is connected to the fast Ethernet 01 port on the switch. This AP in the topology is a Cisco Aeronet 1815i, which means you can use the command line and a limited set of familiar iOS commands. Advanced setting. Most WLC will come with some basic settings and menus that users can quickly access to implement a variety of common configurations. However, as a network administrator, you will typically access the advanced settings. For the Cisco 3504 wireless controller, click Advanced in the upper right-hand corner to access the advanced summary page, as shown in the figure. For here, you can access all the features of WLC. Configure a LAN. Wireless LAN controllers have ports and interface. Ports are sockets for the physical connections to the wired network. They resemble switch ports. Interfaces are virtual. They are created in software and are very similar to Wlan interfaces. In fact, each interface that will carry traffic from WLAN is configured on the WLC as a different VLAN. The Cisco 3500 for WLC can support 150 access points and 4096 VLANs. However, it only has 5 physical ports, as shown in the. This means that each physical port can support many APs and WLANs. The ports on the WLC are essential trunk ports that can carry traffic from multiple VLANs to a switch for distribution to multiple APs. Each AP can support multiple LANs. SNMP and radius. SNMP is used to monitor the network. The network administrator wants the WLC to forward all SNMP long messages called traps to SNMP server. Next one is configure SNMP server information. The Management tab. Click the Management tab to access a variety of management features. SNMP is listed at the top of the menu on the left, and click SNMP to expand the submenus. And click Trap Receive. Click New to configure a new SNMP trap receiver. Enter the SNMP community name and the IP address, IPv4 or IPv6. For the SNMP server, click Apply. The WLC will now forward SNMP long messages to the SNMP server. Configure radius server information. Enter the security tabs radius authentication. No radius servers are currently configured. Enter IPv4 address for PCA and shared secret. This is the password used between the WLC radius server. It is not for user. Click apply as shown in the figure. After clicking apply, the list of configure radius authentication servers refreshes with the new server list. For configure a new interface, first is create a new interface. Second one is configure the VLAN name and ID. Configure the port and interface address. Configure the DHCP server address. Apply and confirm. Verify interface. And configure a DHCO scope. First, review the topology. Explain the role of the WLC DHCP server. Creates a new DHCP scope. For configure a WPA2 enterprise LAN, first is review the topology, create LAN, configure the WLC to use the radius server. Port is secure the new LAN with WPA2 enterprise, and the last is verify WPA2 enterprise security.